wake up before the alarm. It's still, dark. For a brief second, the world is quiet and your mind almost still. But then, the flood begins. Thoughts rush in. What if I'm late? Did I say the wrong thing yesterday? I'm tired already. Today's going to be hard. And in those first 30 seconds of the day before your feet even touch the floor, you've already begun to live inside a story written by your mind. You don't notice it. At first, you think you're reacting to life, but in truth, you're reacting to thoughts. Not reality, but interpretations. A man can live in paradise and feel trapped. Another can live in chaos and feel free. What separates them isn't what they see. It's what they think about what they see. Your thoughts are not harmless whispers. They are architects. They build walls or open doors. They paint the world in light or shadow and then convince you that's just how the world is. You've seen it. How two people can experience the same event, and one says it was beautiful, while the other says it was unbearable. They were both right, for their world was filtered through the lens of their thoughts. You see, reality is neutral, but your mind, deafened. It is a lens, cracked or clear, colored by the meanings you give things, and most people live their entire lives staring through a lens they never cleaned. We spend years trying to change our circumstances, the job, the relationship, the body, the money. Yet so few of us dare to confront the source, the endless whispering inside our heads, that voice that narrates everything you do, that one that never stops commenting on your failures, your hopes, your plans. That's not you. That's just the echo of all the thoughts you've believed for too long. If you've ever caught yourself lost in thought, imagining a conversation that never happened, arguing with a memory, or replaying mistakes like a broken film, you've seen how easily the mind can hijack reality. We all live more in imagination than in the present, and that imagination, those words and pictures, they determine the quality of your life, because you don't see with your eyes, you see with your mind. If you think you are powerless, you'll behave as if you are. If you think the world is cruel, you'll collect proof of cruelty everywhere you go. If you think you're unworthy of love, you'll push away anyone who tries to give it to you, not because it's true, but because thoughts become invisible scripts that direct your every move. This is the hidden truth. You don't control the world. You control the meaning you give it, and that meaning controls everything. We've all felt trapped in the loop, the human loop. It's wake up time day, think time, react, regret, repeat. You tell yourself you'll be more positive, you'll stay calm, you'll stop worrying so much. But by noon, your mind is already running 100 miles per hour again. You get angry when someone cuts you off in traffic. You replay the argument from last night. You compare your life to someone's highlight reel online, and all the while, you're feeding the machine that makes you suffer. Thoughts are like drops of dye in clear water, one by one. They color the whole container. You can't keep adding bitterness and expect your inner world to stay pure. But it's not your fault. You were never taught to think consciously. School teaches you what to think, not how to think. Society teaches you what to chase, not why you chase it. And so your thoughts are shaped by noise, not by awareness. You inherited fears, opinions, and patterns that were never yours to begin with. You absorbed them from parents, from media, from pain, and now they live rent free in your head, deciding your mood, your choices, your destiny. It's a strange paradox. We crave control over everything. Our jobs, our image, our future. Yet we hand over the deepest control, our thoughts, to habit and chance. Imagine someone whispering to you all day long, "You're not enough. You'll fail. People don't care." Would you call that person your friend? Of course not. Yet most people live with that voice, unchallenged, believing it to be truth. That is the human loop, the prison of unconscious thinking. But there's a shift that changes everything, a truth hidden in plain sight. The mind is not reality. It's a storyteller, and you are not the story. You are the awareness listening to it. When you realize that, your life begins to change in ways nothing external ever could. Every thought you believe creates a feeling. Every feeling drives an action. Every action shapes a result. Change the thought, and the whole chain rewrites itself. It sounds simple, but simplicity is the highest sophistication. Let's walk through it slowly, truthfully. Lesson 1. The power of observation. Before you can change your thoughts, you must learn to see them. Close your eyes and notice what happens. A stream begins. Images, words, memories, plans. You can't stop them immediately, but you can watch. And in that watching, you become the master. It's like sitting by a river. If you jump into the water, you get swept away. But if you sit on the bank and observe, you realize the river was never you. Every moment you observe your thoughts instead of believing them. You reclaim your freedom. You stop being the actor, lost in the play, and become the audience, watching from above. That's how presence begins, not by forcing silence, but by seeing clearly. Great performers understand this. Take Kobe Bryant. He used to say that in the middle of chaos, he could slow time. That's not supernatural. It's mental mastery. He wasn't reacting to thoughts like, "I might miss," or "they're ahead." He was simply aware, detached from noise, anchored in presence. That's what makes excellence feel effortless. Not talent, but thought, control. Lesson 2. The law of focus. Whatever you focus on expands. This is not philosophy, it's neurology. The brain filters billions of bits of data every second. What you focus on determines what you notice, and what you notice becomes your world. If you keep saying, "I can't," your brain finds proof you can't. If you say, "I can figure this out," it starts searching for solutions. Your thoughts are commands to your nervous system. Every time you think a thought, you're training your brain to look for certain patterns in reality. That's why gratitude works, not because the universe grants wishes, but because it trains your mind to notice what's right. And the more you notice what's right, the more right things appear. This is why pessimists are never disappointed. They always find what they're looking for, and why optimistic minds attract opportunities, because they've trained their filter to detect light instead of darkness. Focus is the brush that paints your perception. Paint with fear, and you'll live in shadow. Paint with awareness, and the same life becomes art. Lesson 3. The power of meaning. Nothing has meaning until you give it meaning. Two people can lose their jobs. One sees it as the end of security. The other sees it as the beginning of freedom. Same event, different thought. Samba, completely different lives. When something happens, you instantly assign it a story. This is bad This is unfair. This is amazing. But those are just thoughts, not facts. If you can pause between what happens and what you think about it, you can choose a new story. And that choice, that split second of awareness, is where your power lives. Think of Nelson Mandela, 27 years in prison. Most would break. He chose to believe his suffering was shaping him for purpose. He couldn't control the bars, but he could control the meaning of the bars. That thought didn't just free his mind, it changed the world. Meaning transforms pain into power. It turns tragedy into strength. It's the alchemy of the soul, and it begins with a single thought. This, too, can serve me. Lesson 4. The dialogue within. We all talk to ourselves all day long. The tone of that conversation decides whether your mind is a sanctuary or a battlefield. Most people speak to themselves like they'd never speak to a friend. You're so stupid. You'll never change. You're behind. And they wonder why. They feel defeated. Words are spells. The language you use internally becomes your emotional weather. If you repeat storms, you live in thunder. If you speak warmth, the world feels lighter. Every great thinker understood this. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That wasn't poetry. It was survival. The Stoics knew that control begins where thought begins, not with what happens to you, but with how you narrate what happens to you. Change the dialogue, and you change the direction of your entire life. But even when you understand this, you'll face resistance. The old patterns fight back. The storm begins to build again. You'll hear the voice whisper, "This is too hard. You've been this way for too long. You can't just change how you think." And that's where the real test begins. The storm doesn't come from outside. It begins inside. That familiar pull of old thoughts, the ones that sound so convincing, so reasonable, so you. You try to think positive, but a darker voice interrupts. It's useless. It's fake. It's too late. That voice isn't your enemy. It's just your past trying to survive. It's every fear, every failure, every criticism you never questioned, coming back to test your new strength. When this happens, remember, you don't silence the storm by shouting at it. You stand in it. You breathe through it. You watch the thunder pass. There will be days when you'll feel like nothing has changed. You'll fall back into old loops, argue with ghosts, doubt yourself again. That's normal. Transformation isn't a clean line. It's a spiral. Each time you catch a thought you used to believe, you rise a little higher. Each moment of awareness is a small victory the world won't see, but your soul will. The truth is, you'll never stop having thoughts. You'll never stop feeling emotions. The goal isn't to eliminate them. It's to master your relationship with them. When you stop fearing your thoughts, you stop being controlled by them. They become what they were always meant to be. Signals, not sentences. Guides, not gods. You are the observer behind it all. The silent awareness, watching every rise and fall inside you. And that awareness, untouched by thought, unmoved by emotion, is your true power. Imagine this: a surfer standing before an endless ocean. The waves never stop. Some small, some huge, some wild. He doesn't curse the waves. He learns to ride them. That's the art of mastering your mind. You don't wait for still waters. You learn balance. You learn rhythm. You fall. You rise. And eventually you flow. When your thoughts grow dark, remember, it's just weather. The sky is never gone. It's only hidden. You are the sky. Your thoughts are the clouds. Let them pass. Don't chase them. Don't name them. Just breathe. Soon you begin to notice something. The more you stop reacting to thoughts, the quieter they become. The space between them widens, and in that silence you discover peace was never missing. It was only drowned out. This is the quiet victory, the point where life still challenges you but no longer defines you. You start to notice beauty in small things, the way light falls through the window, the sound of your own breathing, the calm that lingers before speaking. You begin to choose your responses instead of living on autopilot. And one day someone says something cruel, and instead of snapping back, you smile softly because you see it for what it is, a reflection of their thoughts, not yours. That's freedom, not control over the world, but mastery over your inner world. You begin to understand that every moment is a mirror. People don't provoke you. They reveal where you're still unhealed. Events don't break you. They show you where you are still attached. Failures don't define you. They remind you that growth never ends. The world outside becomes a classroom for the world within. You start to realize you were never fighting life. You were fighting your own perception of it. And when you let go of needing life to match your thoughts, you finally see life as it is, fluid, unpredictable, alive. The paradox is this: when you stop trying to control everything, you gain real control, because control was never about manipulating the external. It was about mastering the internal, the hidden layers of mastery. You now understand the surface. Thoughts create feelings. Feelings create actions. Actions create results. But there's a deeper layer. Your thoughts are also magnetic. They don't just affect you internally. They influence what you attract, how people respond to you, what opportunities you even notice. A confident mind sees doors. A fearful one sees walls. And the world will mirror whatever you project most consistently. That's not mysticism. That's psychology. When you carry a belief deeply, your energy, your tone, your choices, they all align to confirm it. If you think, "I'm unworthy," you unconsciously shrink, avoid risks, dismiss compliments, and sabotage progress. Then life appears to confirm your belief, when in truth it was you all along. Change the inner narrative, and reality begins to shift in subtle but undeniable ways. You speak differently. You walk differently. You attract differently, because energy doesn't lie. When you radiate calm, chaos has nothing to feed on. When you think abundance, scarcity loses its grip. When you believe in your worth, the world starts to reflect it back to you. This is the hidden truth behind thoughts become things. It's not instant magic, it's alignment. You begin to think, feel, and act in harmony, and that harmony shapes your outcomes. The test of silence. But even as you awaken, life will test your calm. Someone will insult you. A plan will fall apart. A door will close in your face. The old mind will whisper, "See, it doesn't work. This mindset stuff is fantasy. This is who I really am." But you know better now. You pause. You breathe. You remember. A single thought can change the entire direction of your energy. So you ask, what am I choosing to believe right now? What meaning am I giving this moment? That's power. Not loud, not aggressive, quiet, steady, sacred power. It's not the power to dominate life, but the power to stay centered, no matter what life brings. When you reach that place, you begin to sense something deeper than the mind, a silent intelligence behind all things. You notice how life moves in cycles, how losses lead to clarity, how pain shapes compassion, how endings are disguised beginnings, and you realize your thoughts never had to control you. They were just trying to guide you home. The quiet victory. You wake up again. It's still dark, but this time, when the thoughts begin, you smile. You don't fight them. You listen. Then, let them go. You choose a single thought with intention. Today, I'll see clearly. That's all. Not perfection, just clarity. And somehow, the day feels lighter. The same traffic, the same faces, the same tasks, but a different world. Because when the mind is clear, everything looks new. You begin to understand that you've never been seeking control over thoughts. You've been seeking peace with them. And peace comes when you realize they're just visitors. They come and go, but you remain. You are the constant behind the changing weather. You are the sky that holds every storm. From that place, creation begins, not forced, but flowing, not driven by fear, but inspired by truth. You speak differently to yourself now. You say things like, I'm learning, I'm evolving, I'm safe, and your brain listens. Your body relaxes. Your world reshapes itself quietly around your calm. This is what mastery feels like. Not fireworks, not perfection, but grace. You still fail, you still fall, but you rise faster. You forgive sooner. You understand deeper, because you know now it's not the world you're mastering, it's the invisible dialogue within. And here lies the final paradox. When your thoughts become peaceful, the world itself becomes gentler, not because it's changed, but because you have. The mind projects its landscape onto everything it touches. A fearful mind finds danger. A loving mind finds meaning. A curious mind finds miracles. So the question isn't what's happening to me, but what am I thinking about what's happening? That's where freedom begins. That's where control truly lives. Once you grasp this, you'll never see life the same way again. You'll walk through chaos with the calm of someone who knows everything outside is shaped by what's inside. You'll stop chasing validation because peace feels better than approval. You'll stop fearing the unknown because curiosity feels lighter than fear. You'll stop fighting your mind because understanding feels deeper than control. Every thought is a seed, every word a wave, and every day you get to decide what kind of garden you'll grow within. Plant peace, plant courage, plant gratitude, and watch how quietly your life begins to bloom. Now, take a breath. Notice your body, the rise and fall of your chest, the stillness beneath the noise. This is you, beyond every thought, beyond every story, the silent witness that was there before the first worry and will remain long after the last. When you learn to rest there, you're no longer ruled by the voice in your head. You use it, you guide it, you shape it, because you've remembered who's really in charge. And maybe, after all, this time, this was the hidden truth you were meant to find. Your thoughts do not control you until you forget that you control your thoughts. Change them. And you change everything. Not instantly, but inevitably, because the world outside is just a mirror, and you are the one holding the light. So as you walk through the next hour, the next day, the next chapter of your life, remember this: you are not at the mercy of your mind. You are its master. You are not the echo of past beliefs. You are the creator of new ones. And no matter what happens, you hold the pen that writes the meaning of every moment. Breathe deeply, think clearly, live gently, and when in doubt, return to this simple truth: your thoughts control everything. So think with love, think with presence, think with awareness, because that's how the unseen becomes seen. That's how the ordinary becomes extraordinary, and that's how you, quietly and steadily, create a life that feels like peace.